y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Marissa, and I am so glad that you guys are here today. In today's video, I am making probably, I would say in my catering days, this was probably one of the top three most requested dishes for me to make. My husband asked me if I would make a meal for his office, and they picked lasagna, so I am making lasagna. Now, this recipe for the sauce that I am preparing right now is my original from way back when. Oh my goodness, I think the first time I made a homemade lasagna was, it had to be 25 years ago. I don't know. But since then, I have adapted and I have done the different things to change it to try to make it better. And last year, when I started canning, I wanted to can my semi-homemade spaghetti sauce. The problem is at the time I didn't have a pressure canner, so I had to do something that could be water bath canned, no meat. And so I followed recipes from canning books that I had found, and nothing just seemed to, it just didn't turn out right. It wasn't as good as the original, I guess you could say. And so when my husband said, "We want lasagna and I want your original sauce," I said, "Okay, yes, sir." So I'm taking you through this process right now. I am browning my meat. I have 4 pounds of meat. Now I'm making 2 large trays for his office. 2 large pans is what I called in catering the large pan. And each pan will feed 20 to 30 people, depending on how big you make your cuts in the lasagna. So this is a quadruple portion of what I would normally make for my family. But this sauce is, okay, Jennifer, if you're watching, listen up. This sauce is my original sauce. This is what my sister Jennifer fell in love with. This is what my family prefers. And so in a few weeks, I'm going to be making up a bunch of this, but instead of canning it, I'm going to freeze it because for whatever reason, I don't know what happens to it in the canning process. It just doesn't taste good. I think in my mind, I think why we don't like it when you put the meat in it and you pressure can it, you have to process that for 90 minutes for quarts, and it's just too long. It's just too long. I mean, good spaghetti sauce needs to simmer. Yes, I know this, but I don't know. We just prefer it not home canned. So I browned my meat. I added salt and pepper, garlic powder, and then when I make my spaghetti sauce, I do a few things. I tweak things a little bit. And you'll see that in a few weeks. So I'm adding my canned sauces. I use the Hunt's traditional canned spaghetti sauce. Years ago, when we were younger and early in our marriage, and we had a grocery budget, which I still have one. I still try to keep to it, but it was a little more strict back then. This is the spaghetti sauce that I would buy because this is what was cheap, and so I stuck with it. So I'm adding 4 cans of the Hunt's traditional spaghetti sauce. I add 4 28-ounce cans of just plain crushed tomatoes. And then I'm adding 2 cans of, it's the Great Value Walmart brand of mild Rotel. And then I am just going to simmer this and let it cook and let it come together. I Depending on I guess what mood I'm in, what I have in my pantry, sometimes I'll just add my own seasoning, and then other times, and again, the original way that I did this sauce, I would use McCormick's thick and zesty spaghetti seasoning, and I would use a pack of that per meal. So where I'm quadrupling this recipe, I'm going to add 4 packs of the McCormick spaghetti seasoning, and then I add some minced garlic as well. So like I said, I'm going to get all this mixed together, and then I'm just going to turn it down and I'm going to let it simmer while I get the rest of my ingredients together. So now I am starting on my ricotta mixture for the lasagna. I do one layer of ricotta in my lasagna pans. And I guess you can use cottage cheese if you don't like ricotta, but my preference is ricotta. So I am adding, like I said, I'm quadrupling this recipe. So I'm adding two 32-ounce containers of ricotta cheese. And to this, I'm going to just eyeball everything. I don't measure, I just eyeball. I'm going to add a handful of cheddar cheese, a handful of mozzarella cheese, a handful of Parmesan cheese. And I like to add the cheddar to my lasagna because that it gives it a little bit extra, I don't know, sharp flavor to the lasagna. So I'm going to add all those cheeses. I'm adding 3 eggs. I normally add 1 egg per mix, but I thought 4 eggs was just a little bit of an overkill. So I just did 3 eggs and the cheeses. And then I'm going to add it's an Italian blend seasoning and some dried parsley. And I'm just going to get this mixed up. Incorporated, make sure you got your eggs good and mixed in and everything mixed well together. So here I thought the camera was recording, and then my husband comes in and he says, "You know you're not recording, right?" So only thing that you missed was I am layering the lasagnas. On the very bottom, I add a layer of sauce, and then I start with noodles and I add the mixture of cheeses. I do the mozzarella. Um, Hold on, mozzarella. My mind just went blank. Mozzarella, cheddar, and Parmesan. And then I do another layer of sauce, another layer of noodles, and this is where we are right now. I just do one layer of the ricotta in every pan. Um, that's just how I do it. Honestly, lasagna, in my opinion, lasagna can be layered any way you want to layer it. If you want to end with a meat topping, then end with a meat topping. I end with a cheese topping. If you don't want to use ricotta, don't use ricotta. Use what did I say a minute ago? Cottage cheese. If you don't want to use either of those, you can just use shredded cheese. If you don't want to use pasta, you can use zucchini or eggplant. Lasagna is how you make it, how you want it to be, and how you enjoy it. So I am taking my ricotta mixture and I'm just spreading it out over this layer of pasta. I am using the oven ready noodles, so there is no need for me to pre-boil. And there are two. This is the Walmart brand of pasta. The I forget what the brand is, but it's like rectangle squares, rectangle sheets of pasta that's oven ready. I don't really prefer that. I don't like the way it cooks up um, after it's done. I don't know. I don't know. I could tell you, I could tell you really the reason why I don't like it, but it's kind of gross for a cooking video. But since I brought it up, in high school when we had to dissect pigs, the texture of the skin of that pig reminds me of those ready-made pasta sheets that I just don't like. So there you go. A little bit of history, and yeah, I didn't do well with that part of biology, by the way. I actually failed that semester, and before I could graduate, I had to go back and write a report just so I could graduate because, yeah. Anyway, moving on. So I've got my layer of ricotta on here. I'm sorry, guys, if that grossed you out. I probably shouldn't have said that. Anyway, and then I'm just going to continue with the layers. I think I do sauce here and then noodles and then more cheese, more sauce, more noodles. So you have the top three layers. You have a layer of pasta, you have a layer of sauce, and a layer of cheese. Those are your last layers. Unfortunately, I prepped these the night before I was baking them, and so I failed to get a picture of this going in and out of the oven and the final look. So I will try to find a picture of what the lasagna looks like. I'll find a picture from when I catered it at a wedding or something, and I will include it at the end of this clip. I baked this for at 375 for about an hour covered, and then you want to take the lid off and give it another, I don't know, 10 minutes to get the top brown. When you're doing your layers, you don't really need to pay attention to how neatly you do them. You just want to make sure everything's pretty even in the pan. But once you get to that top layer of sauce, you do want to try to cover all of your pasta. Try not to leave any of it exposed. And then, you want the top to look good. You eat with your eyes first. So I put my cheese on top and I sprinkle a little bit of Italian seasoning on top of that. And like I said, bake it at 375 for about an hour and then take the tops off and brown it. So this is going to be the end of the video. You'll see some pictures here in a minute from a wedding that I did. Just a couple of pictures of what the lasagna looks like. Thanks, guys, for watching. Thanks for stopping by. I'm so glad that you hung out with me for a little while today. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We would love to have you be part of this channel. And I just want to say I appreciate you guys so much. Let's talk in the comments. Hope you guys have a great day. See you later. Bye.